All right, no doubt. We back at it again. Your host, Lord Sice, with my man, Brother Kevin and Mix. What's up?
Yeah, what up? Number one in Shotgun, Brother Kevin.
All right. Indeed. All right, so coming off the last episode, we got into the great hip-hop debate. Gave you a little background on where we come from and how we see things. So we want to just elevate it further. Go into some of the MCs. This week, we're going to attempt to tackle an analysis of two of the greatest MCs to ever grab a mic in hip-hop. Mr. Rakim Allah. Rakim. I can't leave out his partner, Eric B. I definitely want to shout out Eric B. Right now we're going to focus on the lyricism of Rakim, but we got to give Eric B props for being able to find that brother. And see that he was the one, because Eric B was looking for MCs at the time. Somebody was like, yo, check this brother out. So Eric B heard Rakim and was able to distinguish between him and other MCs, like, he's the one. So we'll be tackling Rakim. On the other side of the coin, we'll be attempting to analyze the great Big Daddy Kane.
Wow.
Two great lyricists. So what we're going to do right now, what I want to do, bro, Kev, is let's talk a little about when we first heard Rakim. What actual song, and we'll go into how he struck you. What went through your mind when you first heard him before we started this off?
Right, no doubt. All right, Rakim. So the first song I ever heard from Rakim was "I Ain't No Joke."
All right, yeah, that's a classic.
And that was from the video played.
Right, Rap City style, right?
Yes, sir, absolutely. And it really struck me because of the title of the song. I Ain't No Joke.
Right.
That's something that's something that we would say around the house, and my dad would say around the house, so that struck me. And then also watching the video as well, see everybody having fun, son. Everybody dancing.
Flavor Flav was in the video.
Yeah,
Cats didn't even know that was Flavor Flav. This was before Public Enemy got on. I mean, they was around, but they weren't famous.
Right.
Flavor Flav was mad ashy dancing in the video with the clock and everything. His whole style with the nervous breakdown of the clock and all that.
Yeah, it just took me back. It actually reminded me of at the time we was living in Cumberland Court apartments.
All right.
And it reminded me of when we would have those parties, those like neighborhood parties at the tennis court, the cookouts and all that stuff. It reminded me of that. So it was a very fun video. And then the stuff he was saying, I never heard before.
Yeah. Crazy lyricist. My first time hearing Rakim was back in 85. 85, right? So I was 11 years old. Out the projects, son. Hip hop was born. For me, I'm Southside Projects. That's where I heard Rakim. 12-inch single. This one songs came on records.
You want me to hear that phrase?
Yeah. On record. We heard the record, son. 12-inch single. Eric B for president.
Right.
On the flip side was Check Out My Melody. Two bangers, man. Two bangers. So, my mind wasn't at the point where I could analyze lyrics at 11, but just, it was just something about the beat and the way he flowed over it. Yeah. You could tell it was different from a lot of songs that came out at the time.
Right.
Definitely a different vibe. So that was what struck me about Rakim. He stood out in my mind as an 11-year-old. There was something different about him, the way he flowed on the beat and how his music was sounding compared to other sounds that came out back in 85. So that's what struck me about the brother.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on. Now we're going to go to the analyze the first time we heard Big Daddy Kane. You want to set that off?
First song I ever heard from Big Daddy Kane. Once again, watching the video. I think it was your TV rap thing. Was Ain't No Half Step.
Oh man, a classic, right?
Classic. Ain't No Half Step. That beat beat got me right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then to see his style, you know what I mean?
Right. He came through wearing a suit with a gold chain. You know, now I can't say he was necessarily the first to do that. I think maybe Slick Rick, maybe some before him that we don't know, but you know. He had, you know, the big 4-finger rings, and all that.
Yeah, he was just like real smooth.
Yeah,
man.
definitely.
The stuff he was saying.
Oh my God.
You know, it just grabbed me because he was rhyming fast. He was rhyming slow.
Yeah.
And the hard lyrics, but he's smooth with girls around him.
Right.
Like, yo, man, this dude was crazy.
Yeah, man.
The suit on with no shirt.
Yeah, right, no shirt on. Flexing on him back there, yeah. First time I heard Kane was in '87. The movie Colors had a soundtrack. And on that soundtrack, the Juice Crew mainly had almost all the songs on that soundtrack. It was a Juice Crew dominated soundtrack. Of course, it had, you know, the title cut from Ice-T, the classic song Colors.
Right.
Big shout out to Ice-T.
Right.
We're definitely going to get the Ice-T when we hit a little West Coast series, but right now we going to stay with the East right now. So Kane's first single, his first song was on that soundtrack. It was Raw, the song Raw. Prior to that, Kane was writing for Biz, but he never had his, you know, this was his first single that he had. And, you know, and I'm not going to lie, I didn't like it at first. You know, the crew I ran with, everybody liked it, but I didn't like it at first. I was like, it's all right. You know, because, you know, G-Rap was on that soundtrack, Shan was on the soundtrack. But Shantae, Shan, G-Rap, a lot of the Juice Crews on there, so there was joints I was digging. But you know how it is, sometimes you don't like something at first, but then you live with it for a while. And back then, we rocked albums. You know, if you was laying in your bed listening to the album, you ain't gonna get up and like skip the needle to go to the next song. Like you could fast forward your iPod now. No, I wasn't like that. I wasn't getting up. So when the song, I let the song play, and then it just grew on me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then once I was open to listen to the lyrics, ridiculous, man. The lyrics, the way he was kicking lyrics, like you said, was ridiculous, man. So what we're going to do from this point, we're going to dive into their first albums. Let's see, we can start with Rakim. Eric B. and Rakim's first album came out in '87, Paid in Full. Now, this album consisted of their first 3 singles, which it wasn't a bad thing. You know, but we waited from '85 from when Rakim came out, and he finally dropped the album in '87. And then 3 songs we already heard, so it's like you taking up space on the tape, man. Like this is when tapes was coming out, man. Wasn't even CDs at this point. So a rap album at that time, a general rap album was like 10 songs, 5 songs on one side, 5 songs on the other. You know, so 3 of the 10 songs we already heard. You know, which was Eric B. for President, Check Out My Melody, and I Got Soul. So they did remix Eric B. for President and Check Out My Melody. But so like I said, it wasn't a bad thing, but it was just like, man, I felt robbed in a sense because those were songs I already heard since '85. But the first song on the album was I Ain't No Joke. The song that you talked about, the first song that you heard. That was the first song on the album. Now, in analyzing that, there was, trying to remember, I think I Ain't No Joke came out first, but there was a little controversy because Heavy D came out with The Overweight Lover, and they used the same break to scratch in the song. You know, so it was like okay, but I think Overweight Lover came out after.
I think
it did. It was a little after, but it was. But see, back then we didn't listen to a song for a year, throw it away, and now we on some new stuff.
Right, exactly.
If Rakim's album came out in '97, we was banging that joint for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You know, so anything else that would have came out, we still would compare it to that. You know, we just didn't throw away albums after a year. It wasn't like that, you know. So there was a little bit of controversy like that. Okay, they using the same beat, but the stuff Rakim was saying, like he said on I Ain't No Joke, I mean, a lot of quotables, man. Go back to I Got a Question, Serious Cancer, who can make the average dancer? You know what I mean? The way there was stuff he was saying, it was just ridiculous, like his thought process, man. Crazy. So like I said, the beat was banging as well. So I Ain't No Joke, that song was definitely a banger. The next song on the album, and this was like we talked about on the last series, it was the era where DJs had their own song.
Right.
The next song on that album was Eric B's on the cut. And he was cutting it up, flexing his skills and all like that. Right. And that was a decent track. Then after that was the remix of Check Out My Melody. Then I Got Soul. Like I said, we heard these songs before, but just to give some credit to the lyrics on I Got Soul, man, like his lyrics were so vivid. What was the one line? It was like, I start to think and then I sink into the paper. Like I was ink when I'm writing, I'm trapped in between the lines and I'm finished or whatever. I get done. What did he say? What?
I escape.
I escape when I finish the rhyme. Come on, man. I was like, you seriously said this back in this was about 86 when I Got Soul came out.
Very visual. Man.
Yeah, exactly. And lyrics, people, lyrics that rappers are kicking right down ain't nowhere near what he was saying, man. So that song was a banger. And you also got after I Got Soul, the next song was Move the Crowd. Classic. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Everybody remember that video,
Yeah, that video was incredible.
It was deep, and that was I think the first time a lot of people identified with Rakim being a 5%er.
Right.
For those who don't know who or what a 5%er is, it's a segment or a spin-off, so to speak. I say spin-off with no disrespect, from the Nation of Islam.
True.
They study the lessons and the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, particularly the lessons that the questions and answers of the lessons that was given to the Nation of Islam by means of one master prophet Muhammad to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's like a question and answering a test that he was given, and those lessons are the foundation of the knowledge and the wisdom of the Nation of Islam. So the 5% Nation is like a spin-off group, like I said, spin-off for lack of a better word, no disrespect, but a brother organization to the Nation of Islam.
True, very true.
I want to give them the due respect in that sense.
Right.
A brother organization to the Nation of Islam. That's a better way to describe it. So that's how Rakim represented itself, and this was also a cause for why he spoke the way he spoke, things he spoke of. Speaking of, with knowledge of self, there's nothing I can't solve. At 360 degrees, I revolve. It's an actual fact. Come on, man. Fact is proven indeed, and I proceed to make the crowd keep. Come on, man. Like those lyrics, it's jewels. There's a lot of jewels locked up in those lyrics. So that was the first video we seen representation of him representing himself as an Islamic brother of the 5% Nation. He was speaking on the podium. He had a little, the little kufi on and all that with the 7 in the back with the fat gold chain. He had kufi on with the fat gold chain. People, that was odd to people, But, people outside of New York, we weren't used to seeing stuff like that. So,
5% Nation and the Nation of Islam had a major impact.
And it's crazy because both of these lyricists were impacted heavily by the Nation.
Yes, sir.
And we'll get to Kane when we get to Kane. But another key thing that ties them together, in my opinion, in my analysis, two of the best lyricists, right?
Yes.
Two lyricists who got their start off Marley Marl beats.
Yes.
Interesting.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah. Exactly. Marley Marl produced Eric B for President and Check Out My Melody. I think he may have produced I Got Soul. I'm not sure. I think he did, but I have to double check that. So
there's another fun side though too, that maybe a lot of people do not know. But when Marley was working with Rakim, and actually MC Shane was there, he was helping.
Ah.
And but the funny thing is that is that they was kind of laughing at
him. They thought he was whack. Like,
because of his style.
His style, right.
That's very ironic.
Yeah, that's crazy,
right? They was tripping off of him, but,
Right.
The rest is history, as
exactly,
they say,
because Shane's my man, but he ain't got nothing on Rakim. But Shane was a man back then.
Shane was a man. Indeed.
Straight up.
Exactly.
The one I'm out on tour, keep your hands off my girl. He said sucker straight, There's a lot of controversy between Shane and LL in the beginning stages too.
Yes.
Because Shane was like, LL bit his old style.
Yeah.
Bit some of his beats.
Right.
Bit his old style. I mean, when they both were queens, but
right. Yeah.
Very interesting. All right, so moving on Rakim's first, Eric B. and Rakim's first album. After Move the Crowd, the iconic Move the Crowd. Song next was Paid in Full. Ooh. Another classic. Now let's see now. All right. Yeah, I'm going in. I love Rakim, but here's another song on which I felt cheated. Come on, man. Would he give us like one verse on that song? One verse and a bunch of talking. But it was. I mean, the stuff he was saying was crazy. Every song we talk about Rakim, there's quotables.
Yeah.
There's quotables, man. They used to roll up. This is a hold up. Before they stop smiling, but still the boom, but the money. Come on, man. It's like all of these lies. Yeah. What he say? Now I learn to earn because I'm righteous. I feel great, so maybe I might just. Hold on. And he was eating out. He was teaching how to eat to live. What he said? The line about fish being his favorite dish. Oh, man, like if you just look at that rhyme, he took you through the vicissitudes. You know what I'm saying? Of being a street thug that used to do stick-ups, but then he fell back from that and became righteous, studying fish.
That content, that lyrical content had a major impact on me too, man.
These are the jewels that were dropped in us, man, that made us, that grew in us and helped direct us on the path that we went on. Me and you being both members of the Nation of Islam. Right. I mean, it was seeds planted in us. Right. I just got to tell you what it is. Minister Farrakhan was hard on his job in the 70s and the 80s in terms of the rebuilding work of the Nation of Islam. And everywhere he went, man, seeds were dropped. And then the MCs, the whole conscious era of hip hop is largely based. You can debate it if you want. And I'll gladly take the debate. Giving credit where credit is due to other people as well. But in my opinion, the conscious Afrocentric era of rap, of knowledge back in the 80s, and it took another form in the early 90s, and in large part was due to the work of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. Of course, brothers from the 5% Nation as well, and other Afrocentric, Pan-African organizations, but mainly spearheaded by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam. That's just the history of hip hop.
And your research.
Yeah, you have to. And I know a lot of people, they don't want to get into religion, don't want to deal with religion in some sense. When you talk about religion without a mature mentality, it causes a lot of division. But you're looking at a whole era of hip hop that was inspired by the Nation of Islam. It's just real, man. There's no way around it. No way around it. All right, so the next song, this was a classic, As the Rhyme Goes On. This was the where they used the Barry White. It wasn't a sample. You could tell it was kind of replayed on the keyboard, but the Barry White sample that a lot of people went on to sample in hip hop. Like I said, there's not a song on here where there's not a hip hop quotable. All right, there's a line in this song where he says, "I'm the R, the A to the K I am. If I wasn't, then why would I say I am?" Okay, Eminem's album, the Marshall Mathers album. I am whoever I say I am. If I wasn't, then why would I say I am? We go to Nas's album. Which album was that? The album where he aired out Jay-Z, the Ether album. Stillmatic. Yeah. I'm the N, the A to the S-I-R. If I wasn't, I must have been Escobar. You know what I'm saying? So this is all stemming from Rakim's lyrics, man. So those who are of this generation of hip hop, And if you haven't done your knowledge, do the history, study the history, and go back and listen to these classic MCs. They laid the foundation for hip hop. There would be none of this type of hip hop today if it wasn't for, the pioneers in the past. And you have to study the history. You can't disrespect the architects. You got to respect the architects and know what you're dealing with. So,
right.
But go ahead.
Rakim has a lot of quotables, a lot of rhymes that a lot of artists picked up off of. Like that one where it says, no tricks in 86, it's time to build.
Right.
You know how many MCs was waiting for 96 to come around?
Right.
Or 06 to come around just so that they can use their rhyme.
Flip it, right? I mean, these are pioneers, man. I mean,
shout out to Most Def.
So like, also in his song, just some of these lyrics he was kicking. He was like, the one line is so iconic. I'm trying to remember it. Hold up. He was talking about something about squeeze in because it's packed. It'll be more room if MCs to play the back or something. He was just like the way he would go off. He would just diss mad MCs, man, and nobody would answer. I mean, no one answered Rakim in any of the lines he sent out. Nobody retaliated. So I mean, that's the caliber of MC he was. And the next song, number 8, was Chinese Arithmetic. Now this was a DJ song where Eric B went off on this, where he was cutting up old classic Asian melodies, and he was using a style of scratch, which was the transform scratch. Now we talked about transforming scratches on the last episode, and how Philly, in my opinion, locked that down. And when you listen to his transform scratch, it's good. No disrespect, son.
No disrespect. Much love.
But it ain't sound like no Jazzy Jeff transform. Like it sound, you can hear it, just like there's levels to rhyming and MCs. You can hear the level of the transform scratch. I mean, it's a nice song. Go check it out.
Or Cash Money.
Yeah, man. Them Philly DJs with the transform scratch, ridiculous. Go check it out. Check the history out. So that was a banger though. Chinese Arithmetic. The next song was a remix of Eric B for President. Another quotables. Thought I was a donut, you try to glaze me. How many people would say that? Like straight up, like man, I ain't even gonna go there. The last song after Eric B for President was an extended beat. I think it was the extended beat to move the crowd. It was like an instrumental, So
did we hit melody?
Yeah. But we didn't kind of touch on it. We could touch on it. I just kind of glanced over it as it was one of the 3 songs. Now, see, that's what I'm saying. So you had 3 songs that were done prior to the album that we already heard. Then you got an extended beat on it, which is an instrumental. Oh, come on, we got cheated. It didn't move the crowd. Like I said, he only kicked 1 verse. So that's why. I mean, it's a solidified classic. Don't get it twisted. But. It was like we weren't given enough of Rakim.
I think I might know a little something possibly why. Now I do know that around that time Rakim was very young. He was about 16, I believe. I think when he recorded that first song, I believe.
What, did you check out my melody and all like that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past. I mean, Marley was out there scouting that.
Right, and also apparently too, he really wasn't even focused on the rap career, according to him.
Yeah.
He was actually pursuing college. He was going to go to college and play football. He was a quarterback. So it was kind of like an optional thing.
Okay.
But then I guess it took on a life of his own.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
So I think maybe that has something to do with how it was so partial.
I can see that. I can definitely see that because, a DJ having 2 DJ songs on the track on the album is unprecedented. That was never heard of. Until Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince's double album. I'm the DJ, he's the rapper. Where Jazzy probably had like 5 DJ songs. He's like, we're gonna do a double album. I'm gonna get mine.
I'm getting mine.
Straight up. Another thing, a jewel, a hip hop notable about Eric B and Rakim, the original 50 Cent. The Street Gangster, the original 50 Cent, was a part of the Paid in Full posse. If you go back and go look at the old album art where they took the picture on the back, he's on there, Skinny Brother. But this is the original Street Brother, 50 Cent, that current rapper 50 Cent chose his name from.
Right.
And a lot of people were coming at 50 Cent's neck for that. But I'll tell you one thing, and I don't agree with 50 Cent a lot. I think he's grown over the years.
Right.
But the brother just, I'm not gonna go there. Everybody got their faults, so I'm not gonna start pointing out people's faults because you could, easily point the finger back at yourself. But I will say this, as people were trying to criticize him or why he chose that name 50 Cent, he made a good point. He said everybody else picking the name of Italian gangsters. The same Italian gangsters, when y'all glorify these Italian gangsters and watch The Godfather, they talk about black people like crap.
Exactly.
But y'all choosing their names and idolizing them. He said, I'm not gonna do that. I'll pick a gangster from my hood, a black man, So I'm not trying to push that lifestyle to the forefront and say that's an honorable thing, but I'm just saying that the brother said he had enough sense to be
put it in context.
Yeah, put it in context. I'll pick a brother from my hood. Since y'all want to pick the name of gangsters, I ain't gonna pick these Italian cats that was talking about black people like dogs and whatnot. It's just real. Go do your knowledge, do the history. Y'all wanna watch those Godfather movies and all like that, but you wanna overlook how they was talking about black people.
Exactly.
It's crazy. So you need to check that out. I mean, a lot of anyway, we're gonna move on. I'm giving you hype on that. Much respect to everybody, man.
Right. Yeah.
Don't want y'all think I'm picking on people or anything. I'm just talking about the history, man.
Like you said,
the history.
Like it is.
Yeah. So if you want to debate that, I won't shy from a good discussion, if you want to present some facts that show otherwise. But the reality is the way that, black folks were depicted and talked about in these movies was like the bottom rail. So, so anyway, moving on. I'll get all Chuck D on y'all right there. All right, so we moving on to Big Daddy Kane. Now, Big Daddy Kane's first album came out 1 year after Rakim's album, Rakim's Paid in Full album, 87. Big Daddy Kane's album came out in 88. 88 was one of the golden years for hip hop, man. So many good albums came out in 88, man.
What is the title of that album, brother?
Long Live the Kane. Man. Listen.
Long Live
the Kane.
First album.
The first album.
Long Live
the Kane. Sound familiar? See, we were talking about the Islamic influence and the impact of the Nation of Islam.
Go ahead.
One of the rallying cries for the Nation of Islam and the righteous, is Long Live Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
It's not a coincidence that Big Daddy Kane named his album Long Live the Kane. And the name Kane is an acronym, right?
Right. True.
Stands for King, Asiatic, Nobody's Equal. All right, anyway.
Okay. All right.
So the first song is Long Live the King.
Yep. Wow.
One of the craziest beats ever in hip hop.
I never heard such a creative type beat before, man. Like, what is this?
It was like the sampling of the drums. I don't know if those drums were played or if they were sampled.
Right.
Like, it was crisp.
Yeah.
And then the mixture of live drums, but with the 808 banging in the background of it. And then the drum breakdown. I wish I could just play it right now. We'd probably catch a copyright, but anyway. But go back and check that song out. The lyrics Kane was on, what he was kicking. Man, listen. What would he say? MC swear that they can party, but the style that I'm using is just like karate. So if we ever battle, you're bound to be through, because I got a black belt in rap can do or something like that. I mean, it was just, I'm not Chinese, it's just rhymes like these. Listen, man, man, you go back and listen to some of this stuff. These brothers gotta be anywhere, they're not even in the 20s at this point. I mean, but the way that they're MCing, man, like I said, the way grown men rap today, a lot of it can't stand up to what they were doing in their teens.
Right. Big Daddy Kane, and Kane is a punchline master.
Oh, my goodness, man.
A punchline master.
See, the thing about Kane, man, is like, and I didn't say this about Rakim, because a lot of people wanted to see Kane and Rakim battle, and they almost got into it.
Right.
And they did shoot subliminals back at each other.
Yeah.
But the battle never jumped off. Rakim was an extremely deep thinker.
Right.
And it reflected in his rhymes. Right? He mostly rapped over medium to slow tempo beats. He very rarely rapped over fast beats. Very rarely. And see, this is in terms of style. Kane, in my opinion, I'm not gonna say he has a better lyricist than Rakim. I can't say that.
Nah,
but I can say he had more styles than Rakim. Kane could rap fast. He could rap slow. He was one of the first rappers that started to do the rip him and dip him and flip him and kip him. Like that style. A lot of people weren't doing that until Kane came on the scene. You know what I mean? So Kane was very versatile, and they both was wordsmiths.
Yeah.
You know, we'll go check some of those lyrics out there. The next song on the album was Raw. They had a remix of Raw on there, which was crazy. You know, he had some extra lyrics on there. It was banging. You know, go back and check it. And Raw got a lot of quotables.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people would use Raw to, you know, scratch in their hooks and different things of that nature. Go back and check some of those lyrics. Marley Marl was fire on the production, man.
Same thing with the production. James Brown again.
Yeah,
JB's.
definitely. On both of those albums.
All over.
Rakim's album and on Kane's album. A lot of James Brown samples. So everybody know Raw was a banger. Then you had Set It Off.
Yep.
Which was
right there.
Yeah.
That's it. Boom. That's it. Let it boom, get boom. I just can't hold back on that, man. Please. What?
Well, we control the effect. What the heck? Rock the discotheque. Hold on. They would say, if you are what you eat, you feed me dope, because I'm just about as dope as dope can get. Come on, man. Hold on. He had so many crazy lines in there, though, man. Man, Kane was flowing, and that was over a nice fast tempo beat.
Yes.
And he ripped it, man.
Yeah.
He ripped that thing, man. I always remember, like, there was a cat in my crew. Big shout out to my man Kai Rowland. You know, when you had a crew back in the day, everybody, you know, had different records. You know, and Kai was, you know, he's the first one with the Kane record. He bought the Kane record.
Right.
You know, because like I said, they were feeling Raw when Raw came out. I wasn't feeling it all like that.
Yeah.
And so they bought Kane's record before I did. You know, we would go to the basketball court and all like that. They'd be, you know, running his quotables down. I'm like, that's all right. It's all right. It just grew on me, man. Like, I mean, that song Set It Off was ridiculous. Now, this is the era. Oh, we didn't get to that yet. Okay, how about wait till we get to that? All right, so that was the next song. Was no, okay, we did. It was called The Day You're Mine. Now, this was the era of hip hop where most MCs would have at least one love song on their album. I have to, you know, LL was a big influence when it came to this. LL will put that love song on his album. He's a player, man. You know what I mean? I think he actually had two of them on his first album, but this was that era where almost everybody had a love song, and everybody may have had a house music, music going on there. You know what I mean? But so yeah, Kane had this love song called "The Day You're Mine." He was singing it. Yo, it was crazy. You go back and listen to that joint and listen to Kane singing on the hook. Oh my God! And the lyrics, man, like these love song lyrics back then, they were very low tech. You know, very low tech. What did he say? It's so funny, man. I can't even remember some of the lines of that love song. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of skipped that song at the time, but these love songs, man, you go back and listen to them now, they're so funny, so low tech, man.
Yeah.
Very low tech. So the next song was on the Bug Tip, which featured Scoop Lover is Dancing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Pretty decent joint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not Abbott Costello, Laura Hardy, I'm holding here to the party. Right. I mean, it was like a party song, but Kane broke it down at the end. You know, they dropped the beat and he went acapella, he went for Dolo, you know. But he's like, that's the one line where he explained his name. When he was like, the name Kane is something I'm superior to many people. When he broke down his name, naming King Asiatic, nobody's equal. I hate to brag, damn, I'm good. And if rap was a gun, I'll be Clint Eastwood. And if rap was sport, I'll be MVP, the most valuable poet on the MIC. If rap was school, I'll be the principal. Oh man, the Kane is in this. Yo, come on, man. Stuff he was saying though. I may die, but he said something about.
I may die, but my rhymes will remain
like a hieroglyphic. Something like, yo, he was on some other stuff, man. Yo, he was big, yo, word up. So, classic song after that was Ain't No Half Step. Oh man, like Kev said earlier, man, he went off on this song. The beat was banging, lyrics was crazy. He used so many styles in that particular song. He did the flat, flippity flappity fast tongue joint. You know, he was also, you know, he dropped a lot of jewels in that too. Yeah. And the way he was, what's the one part he was talking about? I should open the school of MCing for those who want to be in my field and thought something about. Then again, on second thought, to have MCs coming out sounding so similar, it's quite confusing for you to remember the originator. And boy, do I hate a perpetrator.
But how much greater?
Hold up, yo. I'm trying to tell you, man. Like, yo,
please go back and listen to
you got
both
to.
of these albums.
You got to. You got to go back, man. You got to. Yo, Kane was going off in that joint, man. You know what he say? Rap is prime minister. Some say sinister. Hold on, what's the part he kicked about the Ginzu and the Friday the 13th? I'ma play Jason, man. Yeah. Come on, man. You gotta go back and listen to all that. People probably like, what the hell they talking about, man? I'm trying to tell you, you need to go back and listen to this stuff, man. It's a classic MC right here. All right, so next on the album was I'll Take You There. Right. All right, now this is where we get back to the influence of the of Minister Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam and the 5% Nation. Here's a song where Kane basically talking about heaven on earth. You know, talking about you can cold leave your VCR on the porch overnight. You know what I mean? You can leave your door unlocked. Word up, son.
VCR though.
Yeah, he said your VCR, you can leave that on the porch overnight. Nobody even steal it because everybody acting all righteous, man. The name of the song was I'll Take You There. Yo, I'm trying to tell you, hold up. And then he was like, you go to a party and crack ain't nothing but a hole in the wall. You know what I'm saying? Nobody smoking crack, son. It ain't nothing but a hole in the wall. Word up. But that was the righteous thought. That was the righteous mind thought. You know what I mean? So you gotta go check that out, man. In the midst of all the gun shooting and drug slinging, here's a brother who was talking about better in the community, man. Right. Particularly the black community, you know, making it a better place and whatnot. Right. And it's quite the contrary to a lot of the stuff you see now. But you know, you gotta give some credit to some of the brothers, J. Cole, right? Kendrick Lamar, right? A lot of other brothers out there, you know, still doing their thing, still talking positive. But this is the seed of where all that came from. Exactly. You want to know why J. Cole rapped the way he rapped and why, you know, rap about certain subjects? Go through the history of hip hop and go back to Rakim and Big Daddy Kane, and you can see a lot of these original thoughts. Right. That's real. That's real. All right. So next song on the album was called Just Rhyming with Biz. Yes, sir. And this was a collabo with Kane and Biz. Biz, of course, Biz Markie, a member of the Juice Crew, one of the founding members, which him and Kane were close friends at an early age, and Kane helped Biz Markie write a couple of records. Right. And Biz was just like, man, you so dope, you gotta get your shot, man. You gotta do a record, you gotta get on so the people can hear you, so they can see what I see. And I want to
add on to that, which this particular song on here, this actually was not meant to be a song. It was actually a promo with Mr. Magic.
Okay,
it was originally a promo, but Marley, you know, according to some sources, he wanted to make it a record. You know what I mean?
I'll blame him.
And this is the one where Kane went off.
Yeah, no doubt. I can see why I'm on this. See, it was in the spirit of the original mixtapes. How, you know, you can catch somebody rocking in the park and you just hit record, and it ended up being a classic song. Man. Yeah, these were some classic lyrics in this song with Biz. You know, talking about take a girl home and they watch the beta. Cats don't even know what the beta is. Like, the beta was like, wow. That was like before the VCR, right?
Betamax.
Betamax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, he talking about taking girls home so they can watch a flick on the beta. Now you on some Netflix and chill, but this was back in the day, so
right.
There wasn't no Netflix, man. Word up. It was like, I watched Star Wars just to see Yoda on 2 driving down to me too.
Yeah.
Hold on, need to watch a good flick. He said, Navy Commando or the Terminator.
Right.
Peace, party people. See you later, Big Daddy. My man, my mellow, get on the mic, cause you know you eat Jello. Hold on.
That's a very sample one too.
Yeah, a lot of people sample that and scratch that. Pete Rock was very famous for scratching Biz quotes in his music. Yeah, man. King T on the West Coast would sample Biz a lot. So I mean, these are classic and historic MCs right here.
So this is the Kane in the flesh.
Of course I'm fresh.
You thought I was right? I beg your pardon.
Come on, man. He's a wordsmith right here, son. Straight up. So the next song we have on the Long Live the K album was the DJ song.
Yep.
Mr. C's Master Plan. Man, listen. Mr. C, he wasn't the quote-unquote best DJ, but he had his own uniqueness, and this was the era that hip hop was in at this particular time. Everybody was unique. Everybody stood out. Mr. C, man, he was one of the first DJs I heard to master the trick where you got something playing on the turntable. Shout out to my man DJ Smitty, because every time a crazy DJ trick would come out on a record, we go down to Smitty's basement, and Smitty would replicate that joint on the spot. Smitty is a very talented DJ that is able to hear something on a record in terms of a DJ trick and be able to pick that thing up almost overnight, man. Big shout out to my man DJ Smitty. Word up. So the trick it wasn't on this album, but I'm just gonna say this one. It was on the song The Wrath of Kane. At the end of the song where you hear the sample going, and you spin it back and transform it. That trick is achieved by using your turntable and hitting the pitch for the 45 and the 35. Speed up, slow down, and transform in background. So to do all that at the same time, that's crazy. Now, I ain't no telling if he did it because they got track machines back then, so he could have spin it up, slowed it down, and transformed on a different track. I don't know, but in that era, DJs were doing that on the turntables. So to do it at a show, you would have to do it on a show. So I know he probably did it for real because I seen Smitty do it for real. You know, so not to say that Mr. C, I mean that because Smitty could do it, that made it an easy trick. I'm just saying that if Smitty could do it, it was originated from another DJ, so they had to do it at some point. You know, so. But that song, Mr. C's Master Plan, had a lot of good cuts in it, man. A lot of good rhythms. He really separated himself on these DJ songs by adding a lot of breaks and a lot of different style scratching and things like that. It was a banger, you know. Big up to Mr. C. Also, for those who don't know, Mr. C was the one who gets the credit for the thrusting or the movement towards B.I.G. You know, getting on. You know, but he was the one with his demo, I think. You know? So big shout out to Mr. C.
That's right.
So the last song, man. All right. This last song, Word to the Mother. Yo.
That's it.
Word to the Mother. This is where the greatest representation in that time in 88. One of the greatest representations of the reflection of the influence of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. Kane was one of the first ones that would use Minister Farrakhan's voice in a record. You know, and Public Enemy came along and did it as well, and nameless of other rappers from J Electronica, to Common Sense, to Wu-Tang, to it goes on and on, you know. So this song, Word to the Mother, man, Kane was dropping it, man. Just basically talking about, you know, the conscious mindset and how and how black folks and Latins in the inner city need to rise up above the madness that, you know, was going on in '88. You gotta remember the '80s was a crack era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so devastation was all throughout the inner city. And here you got a brother, you know, rapping these righteous lyrics to uplift and to get back to knowledge and get back to building.
Right.
I mean, this is just a very iconic song for those who remember it.
Yeah.
And you know, the samples that they used of Brother Minister Farrakhan, man, it's just iconic, man. If you remember the song, you know, the things that the minister was saying, the mother of all living things.
Right.
And the black man is the original man. We cannot escape our destiny. Right. Word to the mother, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, you know, that was a big phrase back then, word to the mother, you know, like that was a big slang phrase right there, but that was a very iconic song. I'm telling you need to go back and do your history. You know, it just recently, Martin Luther King Day just passed, you know, and everybody, you know, gave respect and wanted to honor the brother. But you got to go back and look, man, some of these things that, you know, Martin Luther King was fighting for was rooted by way of the Nation of Islam and other prominent brothers and sisters and other organizations. It was all in the rap lyrics back in the 80s. Right. Go back and, you know, you got to go back and check it out. Right. You know, and for some part, a lot of people wouldn't even know about, you know, various intellectuals if it wasn't for hip hop. You know, talking about back in the 80s, man, you know, they put us on with a lot of prominent individuals, a lot of positivity. It wasn't just, you know, the array of negativity that you see today or some of the other aspects, man. It was a lot better balanced back then. So, so yeah, man, so that was a wrap up of the Long Live the Kane album. So to close this out, I guess we can just kind of give our overall analysis on these two MCs, man, and how you see them, you know?
Right. It's very difficult to say who's better and who's not, because they're really two very different styles.
Right.
Two different individuals.
Right,
you know,
right.
And they have their own delivery. Method of delivery. But two of the most incredible MCs in history, for sure. And they and you can hear some of the pioneers in them. You know, so they definitely pay homage that way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But they just take it kind of like a step further.
Yeah.
A step further, added a little something else onto it.
Right.
But those two albums are very much classic albums, you know, for sure.
5 mics.
And I mean, albums that are good all the way through.
All the way through.
Which is
how about that? That's a concept.
Right.
How about a good project from a rapper or a hip hop artist that's good all the way through?
All the way through. Right. You know, and Kane, you know, Big Daddy Kane being a wordsmith, punchline master.
Right.
You know, delivering those hard-hitting punchlines. You know, I'm comedic in a way.
Yeah.
Theatrical, you know.
Right. What he say? Sexy young girls of light skin breed. You got what I need. All the people weren't doing that back then. So, and that was the element to hip hop as well. It was you know, you had your comedy and your party type rap. Biz was one of the notable ones for that. You know,
very much so. Then you got Rakim. I mean, he just rhymes. He rhymes in pictures. If I can say that. You know, he can rhyme, say a rhyme, and make you see.
Right.
See,
that's right.
Make you sit down and think. Like you want to pause that tape,
right,
and go back and hear it again. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's
right. Let me pause that for a minute. Let me just marinate what you said.
I would add this in there for those who maybe didn't get to experience Rakim, but you experienced Jizza from the Wu-Tang. The Jizza is very similar to Rakim. And if you don't know Rakim, you can kind of get to know him through the Jizza if you know how the Jizza rhyme and how he get down. Very thoughtful, very intellectual, very, you know, thought-provoking. And they just don't write, you know, just write down or say the first thing that comes out their mouth. They think about what they put to the pen and pad, or today as they put to the iPad.
And I can say for Kane, I would say if you never heard Kane, I would say listen to Black Thought from the Roots. You hear a lot of Kane and Black Thought.
Good one.
So, you know what I mean? Man, just do yourself a favor, man. Yeah. Just go and look these up. They're on YouTube.
Just go on YouTube
and just play it. You know?
That's all.
Just listen.
Check it out. And if if you want to raise any debates about anything we said concerning the caliber of these MCs or anything, leave it in the comments. We will gladly welcome any debate. There's nothing like a good debate to stir intellectual thought.
Right.
And we gotta start looking at debate, not in a negative sense.
Right.
The word debate doesn't mean negative or mean argument. It just means we're having a discussion. We wanna bring the facts to the forefront and see what's what. So definitely, I agree with what you said about both MCs. Very shortly, wrapping this up. Like I said, Rakim was just a prolific thinker, man. He said things that no MC has come up with or thought ever since. Truly a unique rapper. And likewise, I say the same thing for Big Daddy Kane, but Kane's greatest attribute to me was his style. Like he had more than one style. Like he can give it to you fast, he can give it to you slow, he can give you, some misogynistic swinging the sexual escapade rap. That he could go back and give you a righteous, thought-provoking rap. I mean, he was not a one-trick pony, as they say.
Right.
The brother was just mad versatile, man. And he, it's just, he is very thought-provoking as well. Like I said, the songs that he had where he dealt with serious issues, he could go there. The brother was just well-rounded.
Right.
They were just wordsmiths, man.
Yeah.
They both were wordsmiths. Go back and check it out. Like Brother Kev said, do yourself a favor. Go back and Google Rakim. Go back and Google Big Daddy Kane. Check out these albums, Paid in Full. For those of you who like the movie Paid in Full, it's the reason why they call that movie Paid in Full.
Right.
Inspired from that album, so go check that out. Go back and check out Big Daddy Kane's first album, Long Live the King. Let us know what you think about it. Leave it in the comments.
And then go back and listen to some of your favorite MCs.
There you go. Yeah.
You can see, a lot of those MCs that sprung from that fountain.
Right. Except for if you get to some of the ones that they get blurry. The water get a little murky. Some of these, I don't know who the hell they are. Hold on. All right, I'm done. All right, so once again, thank y'all for listening to Hip Hop 101.
Word up, much love.
Much love. I'm your man, Lord Sice, with my man, Brother Kevin. We signing off.
Peace.